Welcome everybody to Ask the Organizer. My name is Whitney Ziegler. I'm the founder and CEO of Big Rocks Organizing LLC. We're based out of the Portland, Oregon metro area. We're a small LGBTQ woman-owned company, and we assist folks through life transitions, such as wanting to stay in your home, to age in place, moving, and estate cleanouts if you have lost a loved one. So this is part of our monthly series. It's a free series called Ask the Organizer, and we're doing live demonstrations this year. We're decluttering and right-sizing, organizing our rooms one by one. We're doing the homes room by room. So this month we are focusing on bedrooms and closets. So thank you for joining us. Special thank you to Maddie for letting us film in your home and for showing us your bedroom and your closet. Thank you to Karin for assisting Maddie as a presenter. And thank you to Jess, who is behind the camera. Hi, Jess. So I am going to go ahead and turn it over to Maddie and Karin. Please take it away.
We're here live in your closet.
That's right.
This is exciting.
Well,
Come out of the closet. I couldn't resist.
Before we come out of the closet, will you tell us a little bit about how you keep your things up here?
I would love to. All right. So I realized that my husband likes to sleep in late. I get up early. And so I have a bureau of drawers in the bedroom, and I would be opening and closing them and using my phone flashlight to try to see what everything was. And it was just, it was waking up my husband. And so what I did was I wanted to make it so that I could get dressed entirely in the closet in here. And so I made a few changes, and I'll take you through those. So one is I added these copper baskets in here for...
Are you all able to see that? I don't know what you can... Okay.
Yes, we could see the basket. Thank you.
Okay, cool. This is just underwear. These are socks, or dress sock or dark socks. These are little itty bitty socks, and these are athletic socks. And so I get them from here. And then I have this hanging doohickey from IKEA, which allows me to, I really care about color coordinating. And so I organize my shirts by color. I have red here. I don't know if you can see it. I got red, purple, blue, green, and then blacks and grays down here. And so that's like how I organize all my shirts. Keeps everything where I expect it to be. And I have this hanging belt holder that has all my belts on it right here. And then everything else is hanging. So I have my trousers. Oh, everything is on matching black flocked hangers, which allows your clothes to not slide off them, which I find really annoying. And also it's a really nice look when everything matches. Your eye is noticing the clothes, not the hangers. And so I have trousers here, and then I hang all of my sweaters on a hanger, because if I have them in drawers, I'm a sweater guy, and this is the Pacific Northwest, and so they get too puffy. And if I hang a sweater on a hanger, then it stretches out the neck, which I don't like, that scoop neck. And so I just fold it. Yeah. So I just fold it over hangers, and that's how I have all my sweaters, which I'm a sweater guy. I have a lot of sweaters. And then the other thing that I do is I noticed when I had my shoes on the floor, they collected dust bunnies, and I wanted to get them off the floor. I still have a little bit too many shoes, but I got this shoe rack. And so pretty much everything is either inside the shoe rack and not getting dust on it, or on top of the shoe rack and not attaching dust bunnies. So that's how I manage shoes. And then if we come over here, I'm really into hooks. I got the same hooks for every single room in the house. Like if try to find a hook that doesn't match except for the kitchen. And I have extra of these. So I really like these hooks. I got them from the organizing store, container store. And so I have my robe on it and all my hoodies and my track pants. Then I don't have like a room closet up here, and it's its own floor that I need to clean because we're in the attic. So I have my kind of floor mop here and my duster here so that I don't have to go downstairs every time I want to get something to clean up here. And then
The dust buster behind you, I think, on the wall that I'm seeing.
that's right. So I've got the dust buster for busting dust. And the clothes hamper right here, which is really easy to carry up and downstairs because it's an attic, main floor, and then basement house. And then I have this little rug that I put in here from IKEA because that way when I'm putting on my socks, and this footstool where I sit here and I put on my socks, and that way I can brush the grit off the bottom of my foot when I put on socks so that you don't have like sand in your socks. And it makes it really easy to take on and take off your shoes and tie up your laces and all that stuff.
You really thought of everything.
I also have these little cedar guys on my hangers to keep the moths at bay, and Dr. Killigan's moth trap thingies too. And one on the ground and one hung up, which is what they advise.
And it looks like the stool where you sit could also double as a step stool if you needed to reach something higher up. Is that?
Yeah, like if I need to do this for any reason, I can.
I'm just thinking about some clients' closets that we work in where you almost need a forklift to raise or a cherry picker to get up to the next level. So it's just nice that it's like a 2-in-1 object.
I have one of those foldable, I'm pretty short. I have one of those foldable little stools in my closet so that when I need to get the up high things, I can get to them.
I have
But
one in the kitchen for that.
do you have anything like, for me that works because I keep the things up high that I don't use as often. Do you have different ways you keep things? I mean, of course we see your baskets, which is really great for just like grabbing what you need. Are there other things that you do? Are there any clothes like tucked away by season or by like, this is my party outfit, I don't need it in my closet all the time? How do you deal with that?
I'd love to show you. Do you want to follow me?
Yes.
Okay. I think we're done with that, right?
If anybody has questions while we're moving around, now's a good time.
Okay. So this is the chest of drawers I used to use that I would wake up my husband when I was like, where's my underwear? Doing this stuff. This just has everything that's kind of specialty. So like sweatbands or like nostalgic t-shirts or like swimming shirts, you know, things that I'm not going to use on a daily basis, bathing suits, etc. I do have shorts in here, but I don't usually wear shorts because I'm a gentleman and it's Portland. So kind of this is like extra clothes. Now, my favorite thing about this is this used to have a pane of glass in here, like you would display objects or something, but I didn't need it for that. What I did need is an easy way to get to my pajamas, which I wear every single night. So I just reach in.
Nice.
And this is bottoms, and this is tops.
Tops on tops.
And I mean, that's all that it's for, but I use it all the time. And I'm very proud of that little solution.
But you would never actually put your pajamas away that way, right?
Oh, I always put my pajamas
In a ball?
I just stuff them in. Yeah, because I wear them every day. Like, there's no point in folding them.
God.
I feel that way too. I have like a basket under my bed with all my pajama type clothes. But if I try to fold them nicely, then it just stops me from putting away my laundry next time because I don't want to deal with that.
There you
So
go.
I feel like the same with kind of like your baskets in there. Socks, underwear, pajamas, things that it doesn't matter if it gets wrinkled. I know I'm going to use them all the time.
Exactly.
I just, that way when I have my big pile of finished laundry, I can say, okay, well, like this whole half can just be put in these different baskets, and then it's not as overwhelming to look at this mountain of stuff I have to put away.
Absolutely.
So can we talk about the overarching principle that you two are touching on right now, which is removing friction? And like, do you remove the glass in the door? That's another example of removing friction. So sometimes we'll actually suggest to our clients that they take the doors off their closet if that's a barrier to accessing things or putting things away, or folding. Do you have any other tips or ideas around removing friction and making things easier to access or easier to keep them organized?
I'm so glad you asked that. My husband, he throws his clothes on the floor every day. And so to keep things looking a little tidy, what I did was I got this bin from the Container Store, and I just put sliders on the bottom of it. And I just said, all you have to do is pull this out and throw your clothes in it and push it back underneath there, which even that is a stretch sometimes. And so it's just easy for me to put his clothes in there and push it under there. And then it's out of the way instead of strewn all over here, which is
And I think a lot of people will have like the chair that gets covered in like the shirt that I wore for a little bit, but I could put back on, or like my jeans that I'll wear again before I wash them. And having something like having a dedicated system or having a basket in the place where those things keep piling up anyway can feel a little less daunting and a little more like, yeah, peaceful in your bedroom, which should be a relaxing space.
Yeah, a principle I work off of is I feel like everything wants a home. And that's the home for the pajamas, and that's the home for Jeremy's worn clothes. And so as long as everything is in a container of some sort or a home, then I can relax.
Yeah. It seems like often when we work with people, they might have a home for their things, but the home is like in a box with a lid and it's folded away. And so then it just ends up like that thing does have a home, but it never gets to the home. So
because there's friction.
Because there's friction. So then usually we can figure out a way to like get rid of the friction.
And sometimes the friction is just the lid on a bin, where if you just remove the lid, people will put it in the bin. And because sometimes we get it to the home, but then pile it on top of the home instead of tucking it away in the bin.
Lids don't always have to have a bin, or bins don't always have to have a lid. Lids probably have to have a bin.
That's true. For one client with removing friction, she didn't want to hang up her clothes. That was a barrier for her. So using hooks like Maddie has in his closet was the solution for her. We just did a wall of hooks along the back of her closet, and that worked.
Yeah, I have over the door hooks in my bedroom, and that's like, oh, I only wore these jeans for 10 minutes. I can wear them again. And then the door is open. I don't have to see it, but I know they're there and they're clean.
Yeah.
I would love to hear from our audience, see if you have any questions so far for Karin and Maddie, or if you have any challenges. I think the semi-dirty clothes are always a challenge, and we see them draped on chairs or exercise machines. What questions do folks have so far? Well, you're doing such an awesome job that folks have no questions, but if people do at any point in time, just jump in or raise your real hand or your digital hand. So Maddie, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You look like you were kind of off to another topic.
Oh, I just wanted to, in the category of having there be a home for things, another thing I did over here is I love having this wee little gravity blanket. It's like a gravity lap blanket. It looks kind of like the top of a turtle.
It does.
But I love this thing, but it's kind of ugly. And I don't really want to like have it on my bed all the time. And so I got this very nice looking chrome wire basket from Muji, and it lives in there. And when I'm not using this blanket, it lives in there too. And that way it's put away. It's not folded, but there's no friction with this because there's no lid.
There's no lid.
No lid.
Nothing makes me feel more cozy in a house than a basket of blankets.
Yeah, right? I can also go into more bedroomy stuff.
Well, it looks like you have an office up here too, and I know that folks do have trouble with their space separations having an office in the bedroom. But it looks like you've done a pretty good job over here.
Yeah, I don't. Uh, hmm. I've tried to have my office be in um, three other spaces in this house, and they were either too cold or I just wasn't comfortable there. And it turned out that this is a finished attic that's just a weirdly large size room, and so there's room to have an office in here. And I think I don't know. It doesn't bother me to have. It's kind of like this is my zone from here over. My husband never even walks over here, but I think the workiness of the office is mitigated or balanced out by my fur cloud over here, which is the largest love sack
That's amazing.
that they make. And I mean, it's so amazing. You guys know because I do every single meeting from my love sack. And so it's kind of like they balance each other out. Like this is all about relaxing and being cozy, and this is work. And so it doesn't stress me out to have my office here.
Are there any things that you've done that we might not notice right off the bat to like keep the little lights to a minimum, or like make sure that your, I don't know, computer isn't sending you work emails at 3 a.m?
Yeah, absolutely. I put this little Velcro tie around all these cables. So right now the only cable that's plugged in is power, and not the screen and not the hard drive backup. Because when I leave those in, the screen will just come on in the middle of the night, or the hard drive will start spinning on my backup. And so this way I can keep them unplugged, but have them really close by for when I want to plug them back in. That's my solution.
Yeah.
See, like that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're sort of a resident tech enthusiast expert. Any other like, I mean, I know we're talking about bedrooms and closets today, but any quick tech tips you want to show off in your officey space?
I don't. Well, I think always having a really, really long cable for anything.
This
That's
one's
kinda
really, really
nice.
long.
This is really long, and it's fabric wrapped, which makes it so nice. This is my iPad cable. Look at this. So it's functional and beautiful, which are the two things you need: function and beauty.
And you could jump rope with it if you needed to.
Probably could.
It's that long.
Yeah, I think you're right. And so I always have it over here to power up my iPad so I can be cozy in my little fur cloud and read my iPad.
Yeah, I have a charger for my phone that stretches clear across my entire bedroom.
Oh, can I show you my bedside table?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'm really proud of the bedside table because it is the result of a bunch of things bugging me over time. And so, first of all, you may notice there's a motion activated light in here.
Wow.
I am the king of motion activated lights. There's actually there's a motion activated light under the bed so that when I walk around in the middle of the night, I get that path lighting. There's a motion activated light in the bottom of the closet so I can walk in there when my husband's asleep and I can get dressed. And there's a motion activated light in the crawl space. So you need light in a crawl space. But having this motion activated light in the bedside drawer is fantastic because then if I need anything in the middle of the night, I'm good. And what I have in here is the following. I've got a pop-up Post-it thing with a marker because I have ADD, ADHD, and if I had a 8 a.m. appointment this morning that is unusual. Usually I don't have an 8 a.m. appointment, but I wrote 8 a.m. allergist on the Post-it, stuck it on my phone, which is usually right here, and that way I can't screw it up. I can't mess it up. I also have cough drops in here because every now and then in the middle of the night, me or my husband will just get a dry throat or a cough. And so rather than have to go downstairs, I have my little ramekin of cough drops. I also have this little pill case for everything that could be preventing me from sleeping. We have anxiety, headache, sleep, heartburn, and well, gabapentin because I thought I had restless leg syndrome, but I don't think I do. So I'm gonna get rid of that. But yeah, having this little pill thing means I don't need to be fumbling around a bunch of pill bottles to figure out what I need to help myself go to sleep.
So you
Smart.
just popped gabapentin right off of there. Can you show us that pill case a little more?
But yeah, isn't this?
That's exciting.
I got this at Muji, and it comes with more. This is where I ran out of tape for my P-Touch. But yeah, if you push down on it, you can separate them all like that.
Cool.
So
That
is
would be handy for traveling. Maddie, we had a question come in from Gwen. She's wondering if you ever hit your head on the low ceilings in your
I hit my head on the low ceilings every damn day. So yes, I'm always hitting my head on the ceilings, but I'm also a klutz. So I think that comes with the territory. And I mean, it's an attic space. It wasn't really meant to be a living space. Luckily, the owners before us finished it and made it really nice. But yeah, I'm always bonking my head on the walls. And that's just comes with the territory. As you know well.
I actually just moved out of an attic space and I could move. I got pretty used to the space. I wasn't knocking my head that often, but I did notice even just like when I would have my headphones on that have this big thing around the top, I would get like paint scrapes and knock that into the ceiling. So like that's how far off I was. Like just that much of a difference was really getting me into the walls.
Yeah.
I was barely missing it with my head. So.
Yeah, please protect your heads. Gwen also is sharing that she's preparing to move, as we know, and has emptied half her closet and drawers. And it's interesting to note that she noticed it's been much easier for everything to make it back to its home. Less clutter makes it easier. Thank you for sharing that, Gwen.
Did Gwen or anyone else in the Zoom room have thoughts on how they decide what clothes to keep and what to get rid of and how to buy clothes that you know you're going to want for a long time?
Good question. I'm throwing it out to you all.
Well, what I did was I made it seasonal. I'm assuming that I will be moving before winter. That would be my hope. I'll have to go dig through a lot of boxes if I don't, but I'm assuming I'll be, so I just kept it out for summer. And then I thought about what's every possible event I would have for the next 4 or 5 months. And then I just kept those things out. Plus just, you can get by with so much less clothes. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Thank you for sharing that, Gwen. How about others? How do you decide which clothes to keep and which to let go of? And where do you find good quality clothing that's going to last you a long time? See, in the, oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, for a woman of my size, there's a group called Curvy Chicks, and they have a resale there at least once a year, if not twice a year. And when I was moving to a retirement community, I took probably 150 items to there, and then I got a commission back from what they sold. And then I also got a discount on what I purchased there. And the other thing I do is I love these 3/4 length t-shirt kind of shirts. I wear them all year round. So I don't have a summer or winter, spring. I just, layer for the winter, and these are cool enough in the summer. So I have a year-round supply of clothes, which I'm a warm person too, so I'm not cold very often.
Thank you so much for sharing those tips, Connie. Sorry, Maddie?
I was just going to say, one of the tips in the Right Sizing Rock Stars book that I meant to do, but I haven't done yet, is, which I think is brilliant, is turning all of your hangers backwards. And then when you use the clothes, if you use a clothes-on hanger, you turn it right, you turn it the correct way again, so that yeah, to identify the clothes, like after the end of the year, you'll notice there are certain hangers that are still turned backwards because you've never worn them over the course of a year or the course of a season, and you can conclude that maybe someone else would benefit from this more than me. And I think it's such a brilliant idea, and I'm going to do it right after this video.
I did
I've
a
been doing
very
it for 6 years, and it cut the amount of time that it took to clean out my closet by more than half time, because all I did was take the things out that were backwards, and I didn't have to look at the rest. It's awesome.
Nice, Connie. Thanks for sharing that. It's been helpful for me too. I do that on a seasonal basis. We did get a question in, and I think this comes up often. What about if your weight fluctuates and you feel like you can't let go of clothing that doesn't fit right now? Anyone have thoughts about that, or what has been helpful for you?
My weight fluctuates a little bit, but I've been lucky enough that I can stay in generally the same sizes. So unfortunately, I can't think of a good way to manage that other than, having looser clothing or stretchier clothes that can go up and down with your weight. But maybe somebody else in the room has an idea.
I think personally, like I like to get almost all of my everything, but especially clothes from like thrift stores and yard sales and clothing swaps with friends, things that are used. So there's always like a million exciting things out there, and it's easier when I can like give something away if it doesn't fit me right now to someone else who can use it right now, and know that I'll be able to find something cool later. But I mean, that really depends on, I guess, how wacky you're willing for your style to be and how easy or hard it is for you to find things in the variety of sizes that you would need. But yeah, I think sometimes just trusting that there will be something else later, even if, I get rid of this now, I can find the right thing later on.
Can you tell us how swap would work?
Oh yeah, clothing swap. I just had a clothing swap. Basically, like you invite all the people over, you say bring everything that you have that you don't need anymore. Sometimes you might put in a specificity like nothing
Torn or
or
stained.
stain, or some people too will have like an embroidery station or a mending station at the clothing swap, so you could fix things, which is very cool. And then, but basically everybody comes together, puts all your stuff together. You might sort it out into here's the pants, here's the this, or sort it by size or something. Whatever makes the most sense for the group, and then everybody just trades around. It doesn't have to be like a one-to-one. You could come without having brought anything and leave with a bag of stuff. You could come with 3 bags of stuff and leave with 2 things, whatever. It's fun to watch other people like try on your clothes and be like, oh yeah, that it never looked like that on me, but it looks great on you, and now I can get excited about something else. And then usually whoever's sort of hosting it has a plan for where any leftover items will go in terms of like donations. And
Yeah, I
I think
think at the last, I think it might have been the Right Sizing Rock Stars. We talked about the big clothing swap that they do at Crystal Ballroom. And it's basically the same concept that Karin just outlined, where everybody comes, they sort clothes by tops and bottoms. They have a floor for plus size clothing. And then everything does get donated to Rosehaven at the end of the swap, whatever doesn't go home. And even in a huge clothing swap with like hundreds of people swarming around tables, I always manage to catch people grabbing my stuff and getting excited. And it makes my heart so happy.
it's fun.
So gratifying.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And Karin, I really appreciate the abundance mindset that you have of releasing items to someone else because they don't fit you right now, and knowing that something else great is going to come along into your life to replace the item you're letting go of.
Yeah, the last big clothing swap, I brought 2 huge IKEA bags of clothes and I left with 2 pairs of black jeans.
And sometimes that's exactly what you need.
Yep.
It's just
Right.
to give away so much of your stuff, and then someone will need it, but Jess is wearing black jeans right now. Beautiful.
We had a question come in from Eileen in the chat, and then Marion responded. The question was, what do you do with the nicer clothes that you want to get rid of but don't want to give to Goodwill? Marion said that she gives her nicer stuff to Assistance League in Beaverton, which is a great nonprofit. That's where I do my shopping twice a year because I don't enjoy clothing shopping, but they have such a nice curated area and everything's affordable, and I feel good spending money there because it goes to a great cause.
Do you know if there's like a Dress for Success in the Portland area where they,
Yes.
give dress clothes for people for job interviews and things like that?
Yes, we do have one.
I would like to donate to that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yes, it can be trickier to donate men's items, but I know the Portland Rescue Mission takes men's items. Also, the Cedar Mill Library has a resale shop called Second Edition, and they take men's clothing for resale.
Okay, great. Great tips.
Yeah. Going back to the weight fluctuation, sometimes we have clients who might be holding on to different sizes for years in the hopes of getting back into those clothes. And some of the things I share are, will they still be in style?
That's a good point.
Would you, could we let go of these to make space in your closet so you can see what you have and easily access it? And then when you lose weight, can you treat yourself to some new clothes, whether you find those through a clothing swap or the Assistance League or somewhere else? Could that be a great reward for losing weight?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, great motivator.
Yeah, anybody else have tips around a range of sizes?
I think sometimes it can be like a way to, it can be sort of a negative, what's the word, like encouragement, when you're keeping things that you think like, well, I want to look like that again, or I want to, be doing this or be that size or whatever it is. And I think that we can kind of punish ourselves with those things sometimes. So yeah, being rid of them, or even just like if it is something that is within your regular weight fluctuation, which everybody deals with, like having those things almost like seasonal stuff tucked away, and then you can come back to them, and when the things in your main closet start to not be the right size, check in on your sort of fluctuation box or basket or wherever that else is, so that you don't have to look at a bunch of things that you're not going to choose right now when you're
feel good.
yeah.
Thank you. That's a great idea. And Karin, you now know this tool. Would you like to tell us about the X Factor as a tool for deciding which clothing to keep? Do you remember?
I do. We were at a little workshop and Whitney mentioned this, but the laugh at the end was pretty loud, so I might not know the ending of this, but it was something like, so the X Factor was if you wanted to keep an outfit or an article of clothing, if you came across your ex in public and you were wearing that outfit, would you feel proud and, I don't know, good about it, or would you be embarrassed?
That's a great filter.
Yeah, it's
So
pretty
smart.
good. It really, everyone in the room enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
I can't take credit. That comes from Gretchen Rubin, who's the author of the Happiness Project, but that can be a great tool for folks to use.
Smart.
I've also heard people say, this is kind of silly too, but like, what if this was your ghost outfit? Like, if you became a cartoon ghost who has to wear the same thing forever now, would that be a good ghost outfit? Which is kind of
I love that.
something to think about.
Because that's a real possibility.
Yeah. And it's important to think about those things while you're shopping for clothes too, because sometimes, I mean, it's good to get rid of things you don't need, but if you can get better at not buying things that you don't need, that's really helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes, well, I think oftentimes I see clients, they'll find something that they like and then maybe they'll buy it in a rainbow of colors. Can you talk about maybe about mindset and two, shopping sales? It gives us that dopamine hit. And maybe it's not the thing that fits us best, but it's on sale. It's super cheap. It's hard to resist.
Well, your comment just reminded me. So, like, let's say I find the perfect t-shirt, right? And I get it in every single color. You have a capsule wardrobe. I do not. Can you talk about that a little bit? So that could be a great idea. You have one t-shirt in a bunch of different colors that you can just mix and match, right?
You could, if you find something that you feel good in and looks good on you, and it's a quality item, and you decide, hey, I want to buy 4 of these in different colors, you absolutely can. I do have a capsule wardrobe. I don't know if folks are familiar with them, but it's a small wardrobe where all of the pieces can be mixed and matched with each other. So you can create a wide variety of outfits from a small number of items. And seasonally, you could pick up a couple new accessories or a couple new items just to keep things fresh. But usually you'll start with a neutral. So one of my neutrals is black, navy. I got rid of anything that was like brown or cream. I just like, okay, I'm gonna pick 2 neutrals, stick with those, and then build from that base. We do have a previous Zoom recording from how to build a capsule wardrobe, and we have a blog too that we could share in the chat.
That's smart.
Anyone else? Oh, Connie, you want to share?
Well, that begs a question then, and something going back to the closet. I do have a lot of t-shirts that are the same, but I also have jewelry and scarves that I use. So, and what do you recommend for, I know there's a lot of different ways, but what do you recommend for that in the bedroom?
I think
That's
Maddie,
where I would get dressed and
yeah, Maddie, would you like to
accessorize.
belt hanger again?
I would like to show you my scarf hanger, actually.
Oh,
So do you want to demonstrate my belt hanger while I go get my scarf?
oh, sure, yes.
And I also do have a scarf hanger. I find it handy and it makes it easier to find them without having to dig through a drawer, something like that.
So this is the belt hanger, very handy. Got some good belts on it. And I don't know if you can also see here, there's a tie hangers, which maybe could be good for certain types of scarves. Nice to be able to see them all at once, or pretty much at once.
Yeah, that would definitely work for scarves as well. Those are what I have.
Yes. Again, with the black flocked hangers, it's probably the same company. I got them at Container Store. And so we have 2 of these because, again, Pacific Northwest, we need to wear scarves a lot. And my husband really likes scarves. And I only 2 of these are mine. The rest are his. But there's I think 8 circles in this thing. So you can have like double-decker scarves. And I even have some gloves in there. I didn't realize that. But very good way to keep scarves because they don't slip out of these flocked hangers and fall on the floor.
And on the top row for the smaller scarves that are like silk or chiffon or a lighter fabric, you could actually put multiples of those in each hole, which I do because I have a ton of scarves as well. So the top 4 holes will have, say, like 12 scarves in them because they're so tiny.
Nice. Thanks for showing those to us. Connie, do you think that might be a good solution for you? Okay. And thanks, Jean, for putting our links to the capsule wardrobe in the chat. Connie, you also mentioned storing jewelry. Are you talking about necklaces or earrings or kind of a wide range of jewelry?
Mostly necklaces. And I do have a bead bar in my bathroom that I hang them. Because a lot of the jewelry I got was from my mom. And so when I look at it, I also have friends that make jewelry for me, and it's really nice to have those kind of touchstones. But I was just curious if you had any other suggestions.
We have seen the bars with the little hooks, and people will often put them on the back of their bathroom door. Does anybody else here have solutions for storing jewelry and necklaces in particular?
I have a little tray that I use for all my jewelry, and it has slots for my rings and my bracelets and stuff that I like to use. And it has 4 different compartments so I can sort out the different tones of like silver and gold and the different sizes.
And we've also previously shared, I think, in the Right Sizing Rockstars group, the jewelry cabinets that you mount on your wall, and it has like 2 doors and opens, and you have both doors full of hooks for necklaces and then little cubbies for bracelets and earrings and rings, like little slots for your rings. So if you have space on your wall, that could be a good solution.
I remember growing up, I'm just remembering this. My mom had her earrings in an ice cube tray.
Oh, that's smart.
And now there's probably a million little organizers you could buy that are that shape, but an ice cube tray works too.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, that just made me realize I have too many earrings to go in the little cabinet that I have. I actually have my earrings all in a tackle box. So like a little plastic
Smart.
box with a bunch of little cubbies in it, and it's perfect. Cheap and easy.
There's often like a tool or craft equivalent of an organizing system that's like cheaper and more durable than there is for that you might buy at the Container Store that's supposed to be for jewelry, things like that, it seems.
Nice, great creative solutions. And the ice cube tray, you can pick those up anywhere, Goodwill for $1 or a garage sale or something. So great idea.
Yeah, Goodwill and other thrift stores too, they always have so many organizing products like shelf risers and little containers, and you may be less likely to find, 50 of the same thing and everything lines up in your closet, but you're also, I think, more likely to find the right shape of a thing that you need in this one particular space, because there's just people have already done the shopping for you everywhere, and now it's all here at Goodwill. You can find what you need.
Nice. We like to reuse and repurpose on our team. We're very sustainably minded. Maddie, are there any parts of your bedroom that you haven't shown us yet that you wanted to highlight?
I'm so glad you asked that, Whitney. Okay, so I am I save the manuals for everything because maintenance is really important for me, like keeping things in good working order, but then also operation is really important to me, figuring out how to do everything that I want. And so I have this little because I have this home office, I have a file drawer and I have a whole folder at the very front just for attic, and it's every manual for everything. There's even like a pamphlet that came with my weighted blanket that I put in here. I don't know when I'm going to get off that. Maybe
Right.
I gotta clean it.
And if anybody was around for Maddie's laundry room, he has his lower level manuals on the lower level where they belong.
That's right. I have a separate file box, a little file box on every floor, because if I have to go to a different floor to look it up, I'm not going to do it. Oh, other floor specific things I have a rechargeable flashlight that's just plugged into the wall on every floor, and I have some kind of vacuum on every floor. So those are it makes it easy to stay clean with a vacuum. It makes it easy to have light when you need it with that, etc. Oh, and the other thing is I always, let's see, by my bedside table I have the sound machine and this kind of complicated alarm clock, and I also have the air conditioner unit, and every now and then in the middle of the night I need to futz with it, and so I have those 3 or 2 manuals right here, and I used to have them in there and I can't remember why I moved them out of there. They probably belong back in here, but I have like quick access to the manuals that I might need access to. Like I recently started using the sleep mode in my air conditioner, and I sometimes forget how it works, and so I have the manual for it right here. And same with the alarm clock.
We have a question that came into the chat about artwork. I see you have a photo wall.
Yeah, this was an anniversary gift I did for we're doing the specific material for each year thing, and this year was wood. I think it was year 5 or something, and so I got all these frames from I got like a big pack of frames that were inexpensive. And then I printed up all of these photos from our, I think at that point, 6 years together, and put them in order, and got these shelves, these floating shelf units, and surprised him with this for our anniversary.
Beautiful.
Very sweet. Does anyone have questions for Maddie about the bedroom or closet organizing, or do you have questions in general, or maybe you have a specific situation, physical space in your house, a challenge that you're dealing with and you'd like to get some ideas?
I'm also curious if anyone has things that they do in their bedroom to keep like the sleeping and resting space kind of sacred from everything else. How do you deal with that? Does it feel restful in your bedroom? Yeah. I know they say to try not to do like eat or do work in your bed because that could be a sweet, lonely place. Sometimes that can be hard.
All great questions. Let's see. In the chat, we have a question from Eileen. What do you do with those semi-worn clothes you spoke about earlier? They're not really clean, but they're not really dirty.
Yeah. I remember reading someone saying like I just put them back away like any clean laundry, which I think is a really good idea. If it's not really as if I'm gonna not wear them again.
That came from the How to Keep House While Drowning book.
Right, that's right. Thank you. And I also just like I have a little basket that's specifically for that kind of stuff. I just moved, so I haven't solidified where that basket is going to go. Sometimes it's in the closet, sometimes it's under the bed, wherever works the best. I think some people will just put it in the laundry basket. That works for you, but then you have to kind of rifle through your laundry basket. I don't know, Whitney, do you have thoughts on that?
I have hooks on the back of my bathroom door. So that's where I keep my semi-dirty stuff. And then when I do laundry once a week, I kind of make a sweep through and grab it up if it's time.
Mm-hmm.
My mom used to take things that she wore one day, turn them inside out, put them on a hanger, and put them over an air vent. So
That's-
kind of like freshen it, or, and it's worked for her for 101 years, but yeah, she was
Yeah.
doing it even in her 90s.
That's great. And it's low tech. I think some dryers do have a refresh cycle where you could throw something in for a few minutes and it'll fluff it up and freshen it up.
I do that with a lot of things. I'll put like a damp rag with some vinegar in the dryer with the dry item, and it sort of, I mean, don't come at me if your sweater shrinks, but I've had very good luck with that on like a low heat setting.
Nice. That can also be great for getting wrinkles out too.
Yeah.
Yeah. What other questions and thoughts do people have about bedrooms and closets?
I
Eileen,
just wanna,
interesting
I did-
ideas. Yeah, sorry, Maddie.
Yes.
Oh,
We're
sorry.
just-
Someone was about to say something.
I was just gonna report in about, I got motivated to do my bathroom after last week's. And I had somebody come in and help me. And in 2 hours, we discovered all kinds of stuff. I found little tattoos, temporary tattoos that I used to wear in the 90s. And I found them and I thought, I'm gonna wear those again. So, but thank you for the suggestions and ideas. It helped a lot.
Oh, we're so glad. That's what we're here for today, is to provide motivation, inspiration, and some tools for folks. So I'm just looking at our team put together a list of discussion topics around this idea for today. One thing we haven't talked about yet is shared bedrooms, and then we have infants and toddlers. Do we want to talk about kids' bedrooms at all, or kids' closet?
Yeah, this is Russ. Yeah, well, I had a quick question about one of the main bedrooms, but I also do have two children, a 7 and a 9-year-old, well, and 4 others as well. But we'll just talk about them. They share a room. We're just moving to a new house, and it's always been a challenge to get them to, close the door of their dresser, and also, let's see, just put the clothes away. But we're moving to this new house where we actually have a dedicated toy room now. So yeah, and I'm sort of hoping that we can have sort of more places now that are dedicated places versus, here's the room where we play, sleep, and get dressed. I want this to be more of a sleep and get dressed type of room. So any hints about that? And then the second part is we're moving. We're in a room now that has a European style cabinets that just have drawers built into the wall, as well as closets built into the wall. We're moving to more of a standard style, but the room is like 40 feet long. And so we have the bed at one end, and then we have a retreat in the middle, and then we have 2 closets, and then we have the main bathroom. And so just the workflow on that, we always do have sort of a challenge with just clothes that have been worn for 10 minutes, and then we don't really have a place to put them. But yeah, I was just wondering about, I think the question that probably hasn't been answered is, if the closets are big enough to get dressed in, and I'm thinking I want to put the drawers in those closets, then what do we do with all these other drawers that are going to be part of our bedroom set? For us to get dressed, it's almost like walking 30 feet from the shower to go get dressed, if we just use our bedroom furniture. So I'm thinking we want to use something in the closet. And so I don't know if anyone has a sort of a walk-in closet type setup, or any hints on the best ways to optimize that. So thanks. Sorry, that's a really long-winded 2 different questions, I guess. So thank you.
Great questions. Thank you. I don't know, Russ, if you were with us from the beginning when Maddie showed us his walk-in closet, and if that sparked any ideas for you.
No, but I can watch the replay. I think this is being recorded. I think
Yeah.
I was 10 minutes late, so I can just watch that if he's already covered that. So thank you.
No, that's okay. I did have a thought about the kids. You said that they weren't closing the dresser drawers or putting things back. Do you have cubbies? Have you seen, kind of the IKEA cubbies with maybe they've got 16 different slots and cloth bins that you can easily pull in and out, and instead of having to fold things and put them away, they could just kind of toss them in the drawers?
Yeah, that might be a good idea. We just have this beautiful dresser. I don't know what to do with that then. But yeah, that we're using that for our toys now,
Okay.
and they're in a good habit of making semi-nuclear explosions with some of these bins and the toys. But yeah, that's a good idea. I think part of it is it does take a little work to get these closed and open. So that's a good idea.
Yeah, I know with the dresser doors being open too, those could be a safety hazard if the kids are running around and then hit their head on the sharp corner of the drawers that are sticking out. So it could be one solution, and it does remove friction of having to close the drawer. We talked about that earlier on as well. Does anybody else have some ideas for Russ, especially with such a big space, this 40-foot space, and it's 30 feet from the bathroom to the closet to get dressed? Any ideas for him?
I guess I picture like the sort of workflow could change a little bit to where you're like choosing what you're gonna wear
bringing it with you to the bathroom before you take a shower or whatever that looks like. I know that when I pick out what I'm gonna wear the next day based on, or the night before, even if I have to like check the weather or double check what I'm doing the next day, that makes me a lot calmer in the morning when it's harder to make those decisions. And also, I mean, I'm not totally sure if I followed through the whole bedroom tour verbally, but I think if you have drawers and you have extra space and you don't need to use them for anything, that's not a bad problem to have. Yeah, I mean, definitely doesn't make, you don't need to go get more stuff to put in the drawers if you don't need it. Are you gonna say something?
No, well, I also, Russ, you might have not seen earlier, but I have this bin that I keep under the bed for clothes that we've worn that would normally go on the floor. So that way, instead of having the clothes on the floor, they're in a bin that just slides under the bed. So it's just a regular, here, I'll show you. It's just this regular bin with a handle, and I put sliders on the bottom of it so it slides on our rug. And you can see it's just got clothes that would normally be on the floor. And so that way it's a tidier look.
So
Yeah,
those are
that's-
your semi-dirties, right, Maddie?
Yeah, they're not really dirty, but they're not,
They're the day olds.
yeah, the day olds.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, that's great. I typically try not to have anything under the bed, just more of as a feng shui thing. But I think that's a great idea. It's better to have things hidden away versus on the floor. And then, yeah, that's always a challenge with, seasonal things. We typically put them in a bin and put them up on the closet. But yeah, I think we're sort of doubling our living space as far as the bedroom where my wife and I live, and we don't really even have any bedroom furniture at the moment. We've left it in Oregon, and so yeah, we're getting new bedroom furniture. So that's sort of the thing. We're excited. We're sort of able to re-engineer our workflow here in this house, and so I want to try and build the furniture around the workflow and not the other way around. So
That's great. And Russ, we're happy to connect with you offline as well. Unfortunately, we're out of time for today, but thank you everybody for coming. We will send out the replay and resources that have been shared. We'll send those early next week because Jean's going to attend her brother's wedding. So we're excited about that. A couple weeks from today, the third Tuesday of each month from 12 to 1, we have Right Sizing Rockstars. It's a free gentle accountability and support group for people who are working on decluttering and right sizing and organizing their homes. It's a judgment-free space, so please come, bring your challenges, bring your goals, and we'd love to see you each month to check in. We also discuss a lot of tips, tricks, and resources. And then our next Ask the Organizer, which is the first Tuesday of every month, we're going to focus on pantries and kitchens. It will be at a new time, though. Instead of being from 12 to 1, it's going to be from 5 to 6 p.m. And that's because we're entering our busy season as a team, and it's hard to schedule events in the middle of the day. Plus, we're hoping that it'll be easier for people to attend if it's outside of work hours. So, team, did I miss any announcements? No. Thank you so much to Maddie and Karin and Jess, and thank you for being here. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.